Hey guys, today let's talk about the Cold Steel Holdout 3. Before we get too much into this, let's talk about the numbers. And what we have here is blade length of 3 inches long. The handle is 3 7/8 inch, made of G10. Overall length 6 7/8 of an inch, made of Japanese Aus 8A stainless steel. This is the serrated edge version. Weighs about 2.6 ounces, very lightweight, and made in Taiwan. So there's the numbers. We're going to open this bad boy up, show you, and talk about my experience with it. So far, not my favorite cold steel for a couple reasons. And why I decided to buy this was I was looking for a knife that was fully serrated. And there's not a ton of options out there. And so I went with this because it's about 30 bucks. It's relatively inexpensive. And I figure why not give it a try. I've really never been into the cold steel folding knives. Never been a fan of a lot of their designs. So I figure why not give it a try, test out my own biases and see what happens. So this of course is a lockback version, and it has the triad lock. And as I mentioned, it's a G10 handle scales. Small little pocket clip there. Little lock back there, a little kind of, I don't know if that even qualifies as jimping on the back. You can see it's got those cold steel serrations, and they actually do make a Lansky sharpener for that. So there is the knife. Alright, so now let's talk about my experiences. Number one, this needed work out of the box. The triad lock was very stiff. Did a little research and it said that if you actually leave it half open for like a week, it will take care of that. So I left it like this for around a week. Did quite a bit of lubing, and now it's not so bad. I can actually close it one hand now. Before I literally needed to hold with one hand and wrench down on this with the other to get it to go, but now it will actually disengage one-handed. So that is one thing to note. Second thing to note, the pocket clip was super tight on this, and it tore the hell out of my pants. Like, it literally is something when you put it on, it was almost impossible to get it off without taking your pants off. So what I did was I removed the pocket clip, and I did a little bit of sanding of the G10 texture under the pocket clip where the contact point is here, and that helped quite a bit. And also what I did was for a couple nights, I left a butter knife in between the clip and the body of the G10 there, and that also helped kind of stretch out the spring a little bit and relieve some of that tension. And now it fits. It's very snug on a pair of jeans, but it doesn't tear up my pockets or be really difficult to open. So you can see this is only ground on one edge, so that is something to note as well. So when it comes to sharpening, you are going to need that Lansky sharpener. So let's talk about the opening action. Very stiff. You can see the spring is super strong on this. So this is actually a little on the dangerous side, because if you were to open it partially, get a finger in the way, that's enough force there where you could really do some damage if you had a failed opening or even a malfunction to cause this to open. It's not a knife you can flip open. I see videos of other people flipping these open. I suspect just that quality control is loose enough where some of these are super tight and some are super loose. I don't want to mess around with the pivot screw, because oftentimes that can lead to things falling out and loosening up even more while you're doing it. I generally like to leave those alone. So it does open, not tremendously smoothly because that spring is incredibly strong. But once you get it here, you can see it's still so much tension on it. You can't even, it's very difficult to flip it open. So will that improve in time? Probably. You know, I can't foresee it being really like that forever. It will loosen up with time. I've had this for probably about a month now, and probably actually carried it about 3 weeks of that month. So it really hasn't broken in tremendously during that time. Another thing is that the thumb stud does not come up much above that G10. You don't get a lot of purchase on that, and it does not come up at all on the other side. So if you are trying to open it with your left hand, it's very difficult. So, but right-handed, You know, you can reverse it, of course. You know, you can get your thumb in there to open it, but really not something I'm going to be flipping like crazy. So just wanted to point that out. See, the handle is a little bit skeletonized as well. The G10's got a nice texture to it. It's got a really nice grip to it. Really good feel overall. Plus they're nice and rigid. They're not like some of these where they're real squishy. So overall, you know, I do like it as an EDC. I'm getting used to a full serrated. To be honest, I'm not a full serrated guy. I'm not into serrations really at all. So this is really more of an experiment to me. I don't know if it's something I will stick with as far as EDC, because I don't know if I'm crazy about the serrations. And plus, I don't know if I'm crazy about this triad lock. I don't know if I'm crazy about everything about this light. So, light. Guess what I'm filming later? Knife. You know, I have mixed feelings about it. I think, is it okay? Yes. You know, would I buy this again? No. You know, I just think with it being so stiff, with the spring being so strong, the pocket clip being so stiff, it really makes it difficult to carry. And you really shouldn't have to carry something for a month to break it in. You should be able to get something broken in relatively quickly, carrying it and using it quite a bit. So, not the biggest fan. Do I see it as being useful? Yes, you know, but this isn't something. I wouldn't keep this as an emergency knife in the car, because that thumb stud's just too small. You can't really get it open. If my hands were bloody or something like that, and I was in a car accident trying to cut a seatbelt, I don't feel like it would open quickly. And plus the spring is so strong, you know, you can definitely see that snapping back if your hand would slip, you know, potentially causing injury. The serrations are okay, you know, the steel's okay. It's OS8, you know, nowadays it's considered kind of a lower end stainless. You know, I know it used to be cat's meow back in the day, but things have changed so much in the past 10 years. But it's okay. It's not, you know, it holds a pretty good edge. I've cut up a lot of recycling. I've cut some paracord and did a little bit of work in the garden with it. You can see it's got a little discoloration on it already. But that's no big deal. That's because I didn't oil it, didn't do nothing with it. I just left it how it is. You know, didn't really take care of it at all. You know, like I said, this isn't my favorite knife I've ever owned, so it's really just more of an experiment for me. And that experiment's kind of led me to say I probably won't buy many more Cold Steel folders. I probably won't buy any more full serrated knives. This experiment was useful. I liked it, but I got a feeling this is a knife that isn't going to see a ton of pocket carry.